This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Shalom, shalom, Akim. Before I begin, I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakwarash. Okay. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and salutations unto the elect. Okay, so this lesson is going to be going into pretty much today's at the time of this recording, it's Easter. Okay, now the time I upload it, it may be a week from now, it may be the same day, it just depends on where the Spirit has me upload it. But pretty much Easter is a heathen custom, okay, and we are not to celebrate Easter. All right, so to begin, I searched up Easter. So Easter is celebrated. Let me get it. Okay, it says Easter is celebrated to commemorate the resurrection of Jesus. Okay, now of course we understand that the Lord's name is not Jesus, first of all. Okay, that's one cut already. The Lord's name is not Jesus, as there's no letter J when the Lord was roaming the earth. Not only that, the Lord's name was given into us in our native tongue, okay, Paleo Hebrew, okay, and Jesus is a false name, okay. So pretty much you search up here, and it says the Easter Bunny's dark past. Okay, this is from AI Review. The Easter Bunny's dark past stems from its origins in pre-Christian Anglo-Saxon tradition associated with the goddess Eostre, a figure linked to fertility and spring, and her symbols, the hare. Some folktales depict the hare as a witch's familiar or even a creature that could drain life, highlighting the historical association of hares with magic and sometimes malevolent forces. Okay, and we understand that when you do a magic trick, when you're doing witchery, one of the most famous tricks is that they pull a bunny out of the hat. Okay, they put a bunny out of the hat. That's witchcraft. Okay, you're not supposed to do none of that witchcraft. Okay, so by celebrating Easter, you're pretty much doing witchcraft. Well, not in the sense of you're actually doing, witchcraft, but, you're celebrating a tradition that warlocks and witches celebrate. You're being in one with them. You're being in tune with them. Okay. Now, real quick. Let me grab this. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10. Salaki, bear with me, actually. Salakia. No, it's not in the book of Deuteronomy. It's Leviticus 19, and I'll start at verse 30. Ye shall keep my Shabbat and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord Yahweh. Here's the point, verse 31. Regard not them that have familiar spirits, neither seek after wizards to be defiled by them. I am the Lord Yahweh, your power. Right, we're supposed to be celebrating the 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 high holy days of the Bible. Okay, and Easter is not mentioned in the Bible. You know, you don't Passover. Okay, you don't see people celebrating the Passover. Okay, all these Christians, so-called Christians, celebrate. They don't celebrate the Passover. Why? Why don't they celebrate the Passover? Because they don't want to deal with them bitter herbs. They don't want to deal with all this, that, and the third. They want to do whatever is good to them. Whatever soothes their soul. All right. Anyways, that's why I started off with Jeremiah 10:2. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. Right? You're not supposed to learn the way of the heathen. Okay? Real quick. Since, when you go back to AI review, it mentions the goddess Eostre, okay, which sounds, I'm going to go into that. It says right here, goddess o, goddess Ostara, also known as Eostre, is a Germanic goddess associated with spring equinox and fertility. She is often linked to the Easter bunny, colored eggs, and the rebirth of nature. While not as widely known as other deities, Ostara is celebrated in some forms of Germanic neo-paganism. Okay, so when you're celebrating the Easter, you're celebrating this pagan god. Okay, and what did the Lord say? What did the Lord say about that? Okay. Okay, because the Lord made it plain and simple, man. This is it's like Exodus chapter 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Right, you're not supposed to have any god before the Lord. You're not supposed to be celebrating any other god. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Right? Thou shalt not bow thyself down to them, nor serve them. Okay, when you're celebrating it, you're serving them. Okay, when you're laying down the eggs, when you're going out and you're laying down the eggs and you're allowing your kids to go, find the eggs. That's a form of worship to this pagan god. Okay, what did the Lord say about that? For I, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Right? Okay, this is something that'll make the Lord jealous. Okay, that's the last thing you want to do. The last thing you want to do is make the Lord jealous. Now, then again, I know there's a lot of Akim, who may be living with your parents, or maybe you're in some shape, way, or form you're forced to be around this iniquity. Okay, or if your mother calls you and they made a plate to eat and they're offering you a plate, it's okay to take that plate, man. It's okay to take that plate. It's okay to use it, not abuse it. Okay, but you shouldn't be partaking in any way or event that'll pretty much make you how do I say, at fault. Okay, you shouldn't be trying to look for the eggs. You shouldn't be dressing as the Easter bunny. You shouldn't be giving out gifts with the Easter bunny basket. Okay, you shouldn't be none of that, man. You're supposed to be separate. You're supposed to be holy. Okay. Now, real quick, it says, It says, back to the goddess Ostara. It says, Ostara is a Germanic goddess often associated with the spring eonics and fertility. She is also connected to the Anglo-Saxon goddess Eostre, whose name is believed to be the origin of the word Easter. Okay, and you can see Eostre is similar to Easter. Okay, and it says the myth of Ostara often involves her as the goddess of spring and the origin of the Easter bunny. One version of the story tells of Ostara transforming a bird into a hare and then laid colored eggs. These eggs are then given to the children as a gift, symbolizing the rebirth of nature and new life. Okay, and so you're worshiping a false idol. Okay, you're betraying the Lord. So real quick, I'm gonna close off on this one as well. Let me grab them. I believe it's worded like this. 2 Timothy chapter 4. And I'm going to start at verse 2. Preach the word, be instant, in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. So we're reproving, we're rebuking you who are celebrating this pagan holiday. Because we're trying to wipe the blood off of our hands. It says, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust, they shall heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, right? They're going to want their teachers to tell them, like the IUIC, yeah, go celebrate Easter, brother. Go celebrate Easter. You ain't doing no harm to the Lord, to Jesus. You celebrating Easter, you celebrating the day he died on the cross, or, whatever they say. We're rebuking all that. It says, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. Right. And that was a fable, it's a myth. Okay. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof